we will talk about autistic verbal language, which, if you remember, it is a foreign language for many of them, for those with classic autism, both low functioning and high functioning people with autism. Uh, their verbal development is also very, very different. And there are these specific features of this autistic verbal language. By the way, why I always uh, emphasize that it is about classic autism, because now, whatever, everything I talk about communication and language, now it has nothing to do with DSM-5 diagnosis, because now autistic researchers, especially autistic researchers, they decided that no, we don't have this problem, we don't have that problem, and whatever, if they don't experience it, they don't, it means these problems or differences do not exist. Several papers, I will tell you. First, it will be autistic muteness, echolalia, and pronoun reversal. There was this paper by autistic individual researchers who prove in their work that echolalia and pronoun reversal is not a problem for autistic people, and they do not differ from non-autistic people in this. You see, I mean, the definition of autism changed, but still there are autistic children now and adults now who do experience it. It is a sort of definition from the previous classification. And extreme literalness and metaphorical language. It's not about metaphors. I will explain the way we understand them. Neologisms, affirmation by repetition, repetitive questioning, and others. I will explain. Let us start with autistic muteness. This is the main worry for many parents when the child do not talk. I remember myself, my son was nonverbal till he was 7 years old. And you can imagine how difficult it is, autistic muteness. And now, of course, we can learn a lot about it from books and articles by nonverbal autistic individuals. For example, Naoki Higashida uh, and Tito Mukhopadhyay and others, right? And these are, you can see these two young men. And as Naoki said, can you imagine how your life would be if you couldn't talk? That's what I always ask professionals who work with this. Just imagine what it is like for them. Try to understand their world before you start teaching them about this common world. I don't know why we can't talk properly, but it's not that we won't talk, it's that we can't talk, and we are suffering because of it. All on our own. There's nothing we can do about this problem. I do remember many nights, because my son, when he was 2 years old, 3 years old, he slept about 3-4 hours at night, and I was lying next to him singing. And yes, mentally praying. I was not religious at the time, but I was praying, please start talking. Please, I will teach you about the world. I will help you. But please, please help me help you. Please start talking. I was not, always think what you wish for. Be careful, because now, so he talks, he's still a colleague, but he talks non-stop, and I say, shut up, will you? Because sometimes it's like a lot of talking, echolalic phrases, and so on and so forth. But it is really, really frustrating if you don't understand what is going on with your child who cannot talk. Perhaps they bond, first, of course, all these difficulties in understanding that words mean sort of certain concepts, but still. And Tito, how can I talk if my lips do not move? So there are several reasons now we know about it for autistic muteness. The first one is they don't understand speech. That is especially for those who have auditory processing problems, who not only uh, hear words, but they are distorted. And what is more, not only distorted sounds, but sometimes the last syllable comes before, is processed before they can process the first syllable. Yes, of course, it makes it very difficult to understand. And like Lucy Blackman, uh, was about 3 when she realized that she was given instructions, right? That individual words were, because these words were blurring into the fluctuation around her, and it was really hard for her. And motor problems, of course, because now we know that motor problems in autism are the rule and not exception, because sometimes those who understand the words, like Temple Grandin, and they want to reply, but they can't because of motor problems, like a big stutter. They want to talk, but they can't. And here, I think I will tell you about it. Even high functioning people with autism can temporarily be mute because of stress and anxiety. When there are so many people around, so many distractions, they can't talk. They lose the ability to talk, not forever, of course, but still, this autistic muteness can be just only in very difficult situations for them. But some remain mute all their lives, even if people work with them. Very few, but still they won't talk. But under extreme, often negative circumstances, non-verbal autistic people would say something, meaningful for this particular situation. I'll give you just one example. As I said, my son was non-verbal. Only sounds like wah, wah, wah. That was it. But when he was about 4, say 4 or 5, and uh, my relatives, was taking him away for a week because my daughter was just a few months old, to give me some space and time uh, to adjust the environment for my daughter and prepare everything. And we were in the same room, several adults, and Alyosha, my son, was lying in bed. He was not asleep, no. He was sort of, again, his usual, he was flapping something in front of his head, face, and he was looking at the ceiling. And I was packing his suitcase, and when I said, I do remember this situation, that this is Alyosha's pajamas, it will be here. Suddenly, I heard my nonverbal autistic child said, "Will mommy go with us?" I thought, because, sleepless nights and whatever, I thought I was hallucinating. It couldn't be. But then I looked at others present in the room with their jaws dropped. And perhaps they thought they were hallucinating. So I rushed to him. "Oh, honey, please say it again. What did you say? Say it again." "Oh, no, 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 nothing, nothing, not a word," until he was 7. That's when he started saying some nursery rhymes, like, Kalelic phrases and whatever. That is what we know, that at least once in their life. Even those who will never talk before, they will say something. There are so many interesting reports and many cases documented about it. So be aware of this. But it was uncanny.